There's a monster out in this world that you may have heard about, but might not know its story. It's the legend of Nessie, a legend that has been around for decades. Its story is one that you can illustrate to any age to help you determine whether or not you believe in this monster or not. The Loch Ness Monster has made an impact on conspiracy theories and research ever since its first sightings. Today, I will present you with information on how the Loch Ness Monster could be real or a myth by its history, past research, and research that will happen. Let's talk about the monster, the myth, the legend. Loch Ness Lake in Scotland is 23 miles wide with a depth of 788 feet, making it quite easy for an aquatic animal to hide within its depths. According to the population density of monsters in Loch Ness, a journal, it is well known that there are monsters in Loch Ness. Their most characteristic features are that they are rarely seen and never found, but there are records of sightings extending back many centuries. Nova Newsletter, an online PBS network, states, described by some scholars as a swimming elephant, the Pictish beast is the earliest known evidence of an idea that has held sway in the Scottish Highlands for at least 1,500 years. There are many perceived images of the Loch Ness Monster, but the most common vision is one of a strange beast with a long neck, 2 to 3 humps, and flippers for feet. One of the earliest versions of the legend is told that the water monster would lure small children into the water by offering rides on its back. Once the children were aboard, their hands would become stuck to the beast, leading them to their watery death, and their livers would wash ashore the next day. Though not as ghastly, the modern legend it dates back from 1933. One road was completed along the shore, offering the clearest view of the loch from the northern side. One April afternoon, a couple was driving along this road and they spotted an enormous animal rolling and plunging along the surface. Their statement was taken into account by the Inverness Courier newsletter. And the editor who was writing this paper described the animal as a monster, and since then, the Loch Ness Monster has been a media phenomenon. Though there have been many sightings, research can be more factual. Adrian Shine, a naturalist, started the Loch Ness Project, and he started this project to prove whether the Loch Ness Monster was real or not. In the end, he believes that this Loch Ness Monster is a hoax that has been made up by the human brain. He explains in the Caledonian Canal there are many large vessels that create wave trains called wave displacement. This can lead to a remarkable illusion, causing small humps in the water. He also suggests that birds with long necks can create the illusion of the monster's neck as well. There was another research project conducted on the report of Nova Newsletter. The excitement hit fever pitch in December when the London Daily Mail hired Marmaduke Wetherell, an actor, filmmaker, and big game hunter, to find this beast. After a few days of being in the loch, he discovered fresh footprints of a large four-toed animal. As said before, this animal had flippers for feet, so obviously you can tell that these footprints weren't real. He sent these plastered footprints in to the Natural Historic Museum, and only to find out in January these footprints were not real. They were one of a stuffed hippopotamus made by the base of an umbrella stand or an ashtray. Past research has proven that Nessie is not real to what we know, but what will the future bring? USA Today announces that a group of global scientists will take another stab at it. This time they will comb the water for environmental DNA. As environmental DNA is Environmental DNA combing is a common technique used by researchers to help them find out a little more about sea creatures using their feathers, feces, or urine that leave behind a trail of DNA clues. They're hoping that this DNA will help them discover the truth on the existence of the monster. And if it doesn't help with the truth, then it'll at least allow them to figure out a little more about the body of water itself, or the reasons as in why there would be possible theories on the Loch Ness Monster. As this fairy tale comes to a closure, I have gone over the old legend. I hope that you have learned a little more about the Loch Ness Monster by its history, past research, and research that will possibly happen. If you may ever need a conspiracy theory to discuss with your friends, I hope that you share these ideas. In the end, the legend was debunked, but will you still believe in the monster of Loch Ness?